So I've checked a lot of YouTube and articles online that break down some of the most underrated animes of all time. And some of them are actually pretty good. I think they break down some of the old and new animes that really haven't managed to reach this wider audience that, a lot of us believe they do deserve to reach. But there is one anime that I feel like has completely been neglected by the vast majority of these articles and YouTube videos about this subject. And that anime is no other than Megalobox. There was a time that I watched a lot more anime, but as time went by, I think I just moved on from the medium, but I still hold it very dearly. I do still check what animes come around from time to time, and Megalobox was one of these animes that caught my attention. I give it a spin. And I do have to say, in this day and age of animes, Megalobox stands out from the crowd like a sore thumb. And it's a type of anime that I'm not really that even a fan of, because it's a sports anime. I can't really think of a lot of sports anime that I really enjoyed watching. So this is a boxing sports anime where we follow Joe, or most commonly known in the anime as Junk Dog, and he gets a chance to go and fight in the biggest boxing tournament of the region, which is called Megalonia. It's a pretty sort of standard story, but honestly, I think what this anime does really well is just the art style. The art style is just insanely unique. Not only that, but the character designs are actually really fucking well made. And no wonder the director for this anime called Yu Moriyama is actually working right now as a character design for Sakamoto Days. I think it's actually kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what are the visual inspirations for this anime, but I would probably say that the main inspirations are most likely the 90s sort of anime. But I honestly think that this show just does its own thing, right? And I think that's a really good thing. This anime has this very grungy feeling to it. That's why that's why I'm kind of associating it to the 90s, it has all of these very muted sort of colors. It doesn't have all the saturation that a lot of animes these days bring to the table, right? This anime just has that sort of rawness to it, right? And it's obviously not only the colors, it's the use of the stroke that is different. It's the fact that, for example, this character is completely fucked up, right? He has bandages all around his face. His fucking glasses are broken. This world is actually broken. One thing that they constantly show is blood all around. It just feels like it's a show that embraces the struggle of living. It just feels like it's a show that embraces the struggle of blood and sweat and tears to reach a certain objective. Honestly, I think it's even small choices like this, right? The choices on topography and what are the colors that they embrace the most, which is definitely the black and red, right? But yeah, like I mentioned before, the plot is actually pretty standard. I would actually say it doesn't do anything special or unique in that sense. Season 1 is basically a tournament arc where we follow Joe, that is an underdog fighter that goes all the way to fight in the Megalonia, and you see all of that development. I don't want to spoil it. Season 2 actually gets pretty interesting. They talk about some really fucking mature subjects there. They just flip 180 the show there in a very fucking interesting and good way. I don't want to comment too much on it, but it's definitely really interesting what they do with season 2. Now, we not only follow Joe, but we also follow characters like Nambu and Sachio, which are very, very important to the overall show and in season 2 also. I think they bring enough complexity to the overall, story for you to care for it and for you to care for these characters. And honestly, the voice acting is just impeccable, to be honest. At least the original voice acting. I don't know about the dub, to be honest. I always watch animes on the original language, which is Japanese. But the soundtrack, this soundtrack is an absolute motherfucking banger of a soundtrack. It's kind of curious because the opening track and the ending track are kind of whatever. I think the opening track for season 1 actually works really well because it's this grungy, rock and roll, melancholic sort of music that I think it fits very well with the overall theme, right? But then the soundtrack is more of this it just feels like it's trying to understand who are the people that live in the restricted area? What kind of music would they listen to, right? And how can that be incorporated with the overall themes and vibe of this story? And so I think it just works so fucking well to this show. Like, I still listen to this fucking soundtrack today. Like, I actually, when I work, I actually listen to the soundtrack to this day. It's so fun. It's one of the best soundtracks in animes ever, in my opinion, by far. Now, some things that I do think could have definitely be better in this show are the actual animations, which is kind of weird to say, especially taking into account that this is a sports boxing show, but it is the truth. I feel like the fighting choreographies and some of the compositions could be done a lot better in this show, especially being a sports anime, right? And the pacing sometimes is weird. Sometimes it's just really fucking good, but sometimes it's just so goddamn slow that it kind of feels like a drag. And so I can understand why a lot of people probably turned off from this show, because the pacing can be at some points really inconsistent, I would say. It kind of makes me wonder actually if this anime would be a lot better if it was a movie. I think it would have benefited a lot if it was that way. But regardless of this show is fucking amazing, right? And it's insane how underrated it is. It's a show that actually tries to do something different and new with its art direction, environments, character design, and sort of overall aesthetic. It's a show that, in my view, nails that sort of masculine vibe of a guy who will not give up, who will rise up once again, even if he is bloodied, even if he's being put down like a dog, right? To fight another day. To me, it's a show that really showed how much passion Yu Moriyama has for the medium, but for these types of underdog stories. And yeah, if you're a fan of, something different, something new, and, something that is, more on the lines of what Berserk, for example, is trying to do with that sort of struggle of living another day, and even in the face of death, never giving up, I would absolutely recommend you watching Megalobox. In my opinion, it's probably one of the best animes that has come to us in the last 5-10 years. Absolutely give it a try. And let me know what you think about the anime if you've seen it. And subscribe and have a good one. See ya.